You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Paradox of Sports, episode 33. And we're live. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're doing okay. It's cold up here. What's the weather like down there?
It's been pretty nice the past few days, actually.
Because you guys are getting into a little baseball. I saw a little winter ball you're playing.
Yeah.
What does that entail then? Like, what's the winter ball program?
Man, it's just practices until we actually get into it. It's just small practices.
Are you just doing fundamental stuff? Taking grounders,
basically, yeah.
pitching and catching. That's it?
No. We've done a little running with my friend's mom because she's a sprinter.
Ooh, okay.
And I also ran a 40-yard in under 6 seconds.
Holy cow, you could be an offensive lineman. Like third rounder. Some of those big guys, they're running it under that. But that's not bad. I think I could run a 40 in like 16 seconds. I'd have to go, well, let's go 12. I'd give myself 12. Over under, I'd pick probably 11 and a half.
Or I don't even think it was 40 because it seemed much shorter. It didn't seem like a 40-yard passing touchdown to me.
40 yards is not very
like
40 yards is not very far. So that's
it seemed like a 20.
Well, if you went 20 in 6 seconds, that's horrible. I'm betting you're faster than 6 seconds in a 20-yard dash. I bet you could roll 20 yards in 6 seconds. So I bet you were closer to 40. I bet you're not giving yourself enough credit there.
Yeah, like 30.
Okay, we'll call her 30. What about the games? We'll, after our interview, which we have we have Coach. We just call him Coach. We got Coach on today,
yes.
But after Coach, we'll talk about you got a cool interview request to turn into an autograph, and then we'll talk a little bit about the games this weekend. But last weekend, were you able to watch the playoff games?
Yes, I was.
Which one was let's start with first, which was your least favorite game?
Probably, this is hard. Packers Rams.
Yeah, that's the Rams tried. Like, they showed up, but I think the Packers are just screwing with people. I talked to your old man here before we came on. I'll say right now, I don't think anybody's going to stay within 10 of the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is locked in. He seems to have a big chip on his shoulder, and they're just, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to play. I don't know if anyone's going to play within 10 of them. So which one was your favorite game of the weekend?
Probably Chiefs and Browns because I think it made like one of the most popular LinkedIn hashtags of that weekend.
Which was what?
Hashtag anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And I hope you learned a valuable lesson. I thought about you during that game. So I hope you took a lesson as you move forward. I know we've talked a little bit about, baseball is kind of where your heart is. I see your future more football, offensive coordinator, general manager style, maybe stuff like that. But at some point in your career, I think you're going to be calling games, calling plays for football. And I hope Andy Reid taught you something. Don't be a wussy. You know what I mean? Because what sucked for Cleveland, they're late. What was there, 4 minutes left when Cleveland punted the ball back to him and never got the ball back? That sucks so hard. If it's fourth and whatever, I don't care if it's 4th and 7. You can't punt the ball. You have to go for it because I don't believe there's anything worse than punting the ball back and never getting the ball again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Andy Reid had the guts, man. He called that 4th down play to Henny where and then that's the ball game, man. It's over.
Like, just run a quick slant, but just run a quick slant, but it's a little deeper.
You're talking about that's what Cleveland should have done.
Yeah.
And I don't even know about this
pass off right away.
And the thing I like to see, and let it be known, I've called exactly 0 plays in a football game, other than PS3 and 4. You need to roll. You got to roll your quarterback out. So if you roll your quarterback, and then you give him the option to run or pass, and you put 3 or 4 guys in a pattern, you're at least giving yourself 3 or 4 options. I just don't punt in there, man. I just don't understand. What have you got to lose?
Do you still have your PS4?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I have a PS3 or a PS4. We have it. It's in Madison's room. That's what she uses to stream her Netflix and whatever other stuff she watches. I'm not a gamer in the least bit. Like, my little brother is a huge gamer. I still think he games quite a bit, but I don't. What system do you play on?
PS4.
Yeah, I think that's what I have as a PS4, but I just never got into the gaming stuff. It wasn't something that and then once you could stream off of them, that's when we put the TV in Madison's room.
Then I could teach you how to become a good Madden player, one of the best Madden players in the Rocky Mountain region.
If I had the time, and the day might come that I'll get into gaming a little bit. Jennifer and we've talked about that a little bit. When the girls are gone and we have the free time, I don't have the time or the desire. Like, video games never appealed to me like it does to other people. And I don't have an issue with people that game, but like a lot of the times when you're sitting there gaming and playing your video games, I like to lay down on the couch and I listen to a lot of music. I'll just sit this weekend when I got back from doing the Wild games, Jen and I sat up to like 1 a.m. just jamming tunes. She tells me a song to play. I have her listen to one. We go back and forth like that. So maybe someday I'll get into gaming a little bit.
Yeah. Plus, there is a lot of music. You can even download Spotify on the PS4.
I think I have. I think I've just streamed. That's not through the PS. That's through the smart TV. That's our main TV. It has where I can stream through the Spotify. In the old house, we had the surround sound and all the stuff in the basement. So I would stream through that on Wednesday nights. Like when Jen went to church and did all that, I'd stay home and drink whiskey and listen to music, which is another topic for another time. But we have to get to an autograph and we have to get to our picks for this weekend. But first, we are going to get to the interview we did. And before you introduce our guest, 15 seconds, between 45 seconds and 2 minutes, perhaps, before we went live with him to record, they had locked down a very big recruit. And I don't even know if they've introduced it yet. So watching the socials, but I know when we went live on the Zoom, you could hear the energy and kind of the commotion in the coach's office and stuff. So they had locked down another big recruit. So that was cool. And hopefully they keep on rolling. But with that, Jack, you want to go ahead and introduce tonight's guest?
Okay. Introducing Colorado State University-Pueblo football head coach. I don't know how to say it. Former quarterback on Broncos training camp. Introducing John Wriston.
It's an honor to be able to speak to you guys. But when you said University of Southern Colorado, I think my first 5 years, when I introduced and tried to say, hey, I'm the head coach at Colorado State University-Pueblo, I had to go Colorado State University-Pueblo. So you brought it up. I started going, wow, that was pretty long time ago. That's who we were.
Well, I'm just, you were there then. I was right on the back end of still, I mean, I'm an Indian. That's just what it is. So we were talking a little bit before we started recording. Jack talked a little bit about some stuff he knows football wise. I have his list of questions he's going to give you. He's done his research tonight. So I hope you're ready.
Jack, fire him away, buddy.
Cool. As we're going to do it always, Jack, go ahead and take it away.
All right, what got you into football?
Good question. I mean, playing or coaching or both. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, just football in general.
Well, I thought football was the ultimate team game, and I enjoyed being around that. And I was able to have a little bit of success, and I think that attracts you to those things that you like to do, and you feel like you're good at. And I think that the coaches that influenced me when I was growing up really influenced me to continue that, to give back. And I love to compete at everything we're going to do. And football gave me the best opportunity to do that when I was a player, and the best opportunity now as a coach. And so I really value that opportunity of learning. And it's a great game. It's the ultimate team game. And I was glad to be a part of a lot of great teams.
Talk about your high school football career.
Well, it was funny, Jack. I moved down from Denver my sophomore year to Pueblo South High School. I would have gone to George Washington High School, and I didn't really know anybody here in Pueblo. And so it was challenging. And those are the days that you have to really bow your neck up and go compete and figure those things out. And so I started out as a quarterback and played a little linebacker my sophomore year of JV, and I thought I was a safety. And then my junior year, I was able to win the quarterback spot there at Pueblo South. We ran the wishbone. And so I was a wishbone quarterback that was a very slow wishbone quarterback. Didn't throw the ball very much, but I did that, and it was a unique opportunity for me to grow and mature because it was very challenging.
Other than the University of Southern Colorado, did you get any other offers for college?
Well, I had a chance to go to some of the local state schools, but I thought I was going to go to Idaho State, and it taught me that I was supposed to go out on a trip on, I believe it was Friday, and I think they called Tuesday and said, "Hey, we've offered your scholarship, so you don't have any scholarship money right there." So I ended up being out here at USC and being part of a great program under Mike Friedman.
You talked a little before we started. I'm not going to say what you said. You can say it if you want, but you were talking about getting a good recruit. So from where you sit now compared to when coaches were talking to senior in high school, John Wriston, what's the biggest difference now that you see has changed in the recruiting game?
Well, knowledge is instant right now. And then you had to wait by the horse and buggy or whatever, the snail mail to get all your film out and be able to be evaluated. You didn't have the power of the internet. You didn't have Huddle that you could switch all the tapes. So and they didn't have all the individual camps. So really it's more, you gain more knowledge right now just like that versus before you had to have sent out film, and then you had the 16 millimeter films that went around and around and around. And so that the biggest thing is the difference between the film and the video and the instant knowledge that you have right now. And you got social media now that rates everybody, whether it's a 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, or he liked 4 donuts for lunch or whatever. You know, it's one of those things that right now you get instant feedback on everything. In fact, I was just on 2 kids that we came across right before I got in this. Was out of Las Vegas that they're not playing, and we looked at junior tape, and we had some connection with them, and they're outstanding players. But I never would have done that when I was back in the day, right?
So talk about your experience in the Broncos training camp, where you had some pretty tough competition at quarterback with guys like Gary Kubiak and John Elway.
Yeah, they decided to keep the wrong John, in my opinion, but that's the way it goes. But it was the best experience a guy could have. Dan Reeves was the head coach, and you just learned a whole bunch about how to be treated, and being in meetings with Elway, and really Mike Shanahan was the position coach, and so you got to have a chance to meet those guys, and it was just really a unique and fun time for me, and it was really cool. I'll tell you one story about it. Was the quarterbacks were the last one on the field, and the weight room was over in Greeley, and the last one, as I'm walking off the field, I was number 9 at the time, so I had a 9, and I hear these kids yell at me. It was all roped off. They go, John, 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 and I just kept kind of walking, and I get closer to the locker room, and they go, John, John. So I look over and I walk towards them a little bit, and the kid goes, you're not John Elway, you're number 9. And they walked away. So it was very humbling.
After this, you worked at Colorado University, who were national champs in 1990. How did you get onto Bill McCartney's coaching staff?
That's a good question. I knew I wanted to coach, so I worked as many camps as I could. And so I wanted to get connections. Life's about making the right connections and roll up your sleeves and going to work. And so I was able to go to work with a guy named Gary Barnett, who was the head coach at Air Academy High School for a while, and then at Fort Lewis. And then he got the chance to be a position coach up at CU, and he lost his GA right in the middle of March, and I was offensive coordinator at Fort Lewis. And he calls me and says, you got to get up in front of Mac. You got to be up here tomorrow. And that's a good 7-hour drive when the roads are good and the whole bit. So I drove the car up there, and Bill McCartney asked me, he goes, you don't have any pedigree to be a Division I football coach. And I was thinking, is that dog food? What does that mean? You know, I said, what the heck? And then I said, Coach Mac, you can hire a lot of different guys, but it'd be more to me than anybody else you could hire to be able to run behind Ralphie and represent University of Colorado. So I think there was 4 other guys that maybe turned the job down. I was the last one standing. So that's how I got the job, in my connection to Gary Barnett.
Okay, I got to interrupt again here. So with the Buffs background and stuff, how much does it suck that CU and Nebraska aren't playing that day after Thanksgiving anymore, man? Because when I was a little boy, my mom is from Grand Island, Nebraska. My dad is from Hazel, Colorado, and that is hillbilly Nebraska and hillbilly Colorado. And I remember when I was Jack's age watching that game. Can we just say it sucks that that's not what we have that Friday after Thanksgiving anymore?
I think that was the unique thing that brought Coloradoans together, right? And then we get all you Nebraska people that move in the state and be a part of it. So it was what college football should be about, the pageantry and the passion of it. And I miss it.
Did we dump you, Jack?
Oh, I thought it cut out for a second.
Yeah, no, might be a little bit of my internet. The wind's blowing 500 miles an hour here, Jack.
Yeah. Next, you coached for Northwestern, coaching Heisman finalist Darnell Autry. How special is that, coaching one of the best Big Ten players of the 1990s?
That was, I still got his picture in my office over here. And that was a great experience, being able to see a guy have a breakout career and be with a bunch of great guys. And it really, really taught me a little bit about molding a team. And you got to find a couple bell cows, but you got to find a bunch of guys that are a bunch of overachievers. And that's what we had in Northwestern. In fact, Darnell and I still talk. He's expecting his second child here next week. And it just develops those relationships. And I was lucky to ride on his coattails and get him the game on time. He was that type of player. I just had to get him to the game.
You decided to coach again at CU, and you won a few Big 12 titles. What was the difference in your first and second stints?
Well, the first stint, I was just a graduate assistant, and a graduate assistant is lower than a snake's belly in the pecking order. And but you had to do a lot of different things to get noticed, and you rolled up your sleeves and get all the work and be able to get done. You know, the second time I was hired as a full-time coach and had recruited most of Colorado and Arizona and parts of Texas. And so, you know, your responsibility at CU was a lot bigger at that point. The second time was a lot bigger than the first time. And so I think that was such a unique opportunity for us to come back to home and build something special. And I think we did. These are great questions.
Thank you. Why did you switch to coach at UCLA?
Well, the bottom fell out for us. Coach Barnett got fired up at CU, and I was looking for work and knew some guys on the UCLA staff, and I was able to get hired. And so I went out there for really 16 months, and I wanted to get back to Colorado. And so that's why I jumped in with both feet to try to get the CSU-Pueblo job.
Next, in 2007, you went to rebuild a defunct CSU-Pueblo football program. How were you approached when this opportunity came, and who approached you?
Well, I had to apply, and I had to go interview for it. And so there was a lot of people in town and former players that I knew that I'd love to get back here. And so it was a combination of a lot of people, but it was really a dream come true to be able to come and start a program from scratch, because you don't get to do that in my profession. You don't get to start a business from scratch. You get a chance to build a new program only once in your lifetime. And I only had one guy to blame. So I think all those people that approached me about trying to do it, I told them I was all in, and I wanted to make this the best job I possibly could.
How does that work when were you at UCLA when you came back to Pueblo?
Yeah.
So what are those conversations like with boss lady and everything at the house when you're talking about going back to Pueblo, Colorado? They're bringing the football program back, because Jack doesn't have a wife yet, and I have one. And I can't imagine the conversations of, we're going to move from the Rose Bowl and being there on Saturdays, and we're going to go to Pueblo, Colorado, and they're going to do this thing, and we're going to do it. Like, do you remember those conversations? Is that stuff still like stuff that you look back on now and think that's crazy?
Not really, because I'm not an LA guy and we're not LA people. So it was a very easy decision
obvious.
like that we made. So.
Are we at number 10, Jack?
Dang it, I thought that you'll cut out again. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm cutting out here. You might be cutting out there.
Yeah, it just like, there's like this silence that like comes up like after he answers the question. I'm unaware that he finishes. No, I'm not putting anything on you, Mr. Wriston, but it's just like, it just feels weird.
It's my internet. It's Gillette, Wyoming internet, Jack. That's what it is. I think we're at number 10.
I know. In a couple short years, you were able to lead the team to the playoffs. Did you expect the team to be this competitive this quick?
Heck yeah, I did. I wanted us to go win the first game, and then I wanted us to go win the second game, and we were able to do that the first year. And I remember driving back from Fort Lewis and go, I don't know anything about the playoffs. And then all of a sudden we played Chatter, and they picked us up and spanked us real hard. We played Kearney the next week. They picked us up and spanked us. And so in my opinion, our expectation was to go right off the bat and compete and go win a national title. And that's what we said. And we weren't afraid to say it, because we were going to go do it.
Okay. In 2014, you won the national championship. Did you see my dad in the crowd? And if you did, was he drunk?
I don't. Yeah, your dad was there. I don't remember details about that, but I do remember being at the national championship with a bunch of great people from Pueblo, and it was nice representing CSU-Pueblo in Kansas City. But I can't give details, Jack.
So Jack, so they send me the questions a little ahead of time, and I try to edit them. And I saw that one, and I asked Matt, "Are you sure you want to go with that?" And that was actually Mrs. Sentner that asked that. She was doing a little checking in to just make sure nothing got out of hand. But I had one question. I've always wondered this on coaches in those games like that. What is the feeling like that the second that you know that game is won? Like, you know, before it's over, you have a good feeling, more so than anyone watching, of the flow of the game. The second that you knew that you guys had won that, what were you feeling? You come from UCLA, you start fresh in Pueblo. When you were there in 84 and even me in 98, 99, that was all just grass and sagebrush. And you have a stadium, you've got these young men there, and you've just won a national championship. That second in that game, do you remember that moment during that game where you were like, man, we won this thing?
Well, what I remember was just the joy in our coaches and our players' faces, to step back and just see them and how they worked so hard for that. And this is their reward, and just the joy of seeing them compete on the biggest stage and play their biggest game and play their best, and see the joy of what hard work, setting a goal, checking your egos at the door, just the euphoria of making sure those guys had such the smile on it was what I remember about that. It wasn't, I'm one of these guys that say, hey, that was great. That was wonderful. I was really proud of them doing those things. But the joy of the people around that worked their tail ends off. And so I'm on to the next opponent the next day. So, that's kind of how we got to be built, Kevin.
Just kidding. I don't even think he was drunk. Talk about that season leading up to this. Yeah. Or the season where you made the championships.
Well, the 14 year was kind of unique that we played Sam Houston State. We played West Texas first game. Sam Houston was the second game. Sam Houston was one of the top FBS teams, or FCS teams, excuse me. And we went down there and we played them, and we beat them. We beat them pretty bad. We played a hell of a game. And Sam Houston the week before played LSU. And so I remember about 5 minutes left. I'm looking at the clock and looking at the score. And I looked at the clock again. I looked at the score and I go, you got to be kidding me. What did we just do? And it was really one of the unique, great feelings. I said, all right, we got a team that believes, and we're coming together. And then the next week, it almost went down the hill because we lost. We were about ready to lose to Western State, and we had to go 95 yards with less than about 2 minutes. And so as high we felt at Sam Houston, it was almost as low as we got. And then we lost to Fort Lewis, and we had to do some soul searching. And after that Fort Lewis game, we got hot, and our bracket was right. Our matchups were right for us. And it was one of those things that led to a lot of highs, few lows, but we stayed the course and rebounded. And I thought it was one of the best seasons I ever could be around him.
So we've talked to Morgan Fox here, and then Jim Brooks, and we've asked them both about their favorite game, their best game, whatever they played. For me, like I said, I'm 700 miles away, so everything predominantly I do is through Jim and Joe on the radio, and I can tell you everything about today. You guys just beat the piss out of Sam Houston State, man. It was so much fun. I was sitting on the couch listening to it. I was making green chili. Like the wife, I couldn't believe what you guys did to him. That, in all the history of the program, everything, the national championships, everything, that was my favorite game. I think Morgan picked a semifinal game against Grand Valley that you guys won. I think that was one of his. Or yeah, it was the Georgia. Yeah, that one. But for you, is the national championship the favorite one, or what is it? You seemed like me, man. You remember a lot of deep. That Sam Houston game was awesome because you guys smeared him. So looking back on one, is there one that sticks out?
Yeah, my favorite game was our first game beating Panhandle with a bunch of guys that we didn't have, and there was 10,000 people here, and the fireworks were going off. I remember that I was so nervous. First game as a head coach. I was then calling the plays and getting that done, and so that's the game that sticks out to me as starting this program. But all those games on that run were pretty special.
I have a side question for you. Do you think that Colorado State University-Pueblo should move up to Division I, or is that just something that's probably not going to happen?
Not unless you win the lottery and you want to donate all those lottery money to me. But we don't have the money, and I think we're right where we should be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you were able to, if it was just like you get an invite to do it, you guys would have gotten an invite automatically. You guys are that good.
Well, I don't know. It matters whether we're that good. It also takes funding and money and support from the community and the university. So I think we're slotted right where we need to be.
Well, that's another one. And then before Jack gets into his next question, another one I like is when you went up and spanked Greeley, dude, that was pretty cool too. Cause we got some friends from back home that do some radio work up in Greeley. And that was another one. You guys went and put one on them. So that's, again, when you're watching from afar, that I'm sure you hear it, but that's cool to see.
Gotcha.
All right. Since then, your team has been always competitive in the playoffs. What's been the key to this type of success?
Well, I think the culture that we have, I think our culture is defined by our players and the work ethic. And we all want to have the process of, it's my job is to teach the process of going to work every day and trying to get yourself better. And so those are the things that we're doing. And I think that leads to that consistency and success is your culture that's led by your players.
COVID-19 forced the cancellation of this year's football season. How did you and your players handle this?
I think that's yet to be determined. you know, I think the future of way we respond to this. And so I think that we're kind of frustrated. We got into a giddy up, whoa type of thing. And it wasn't normal, and we had to adjust, and I had to practice about being above it. And so the things that I mean by being above it is that the things that you have control over, let's worry about that. Well, we had no control over that. So I kind of just let it filter out, and we're really looking forward to getting after this spring.
All right. So what do you look forward to in the upcoming seasons?
Say that again.
What do you look
on the football field, man? I'm getting back to being coaching and seeing our kids go out and compete. You know, our kids, we have everybody returning. They wanted to return because they want to go win a national championship. And I want to give them every opportunity to do that. So I'm looking forward to getting back and being with the guys and the energy of the players and do what I do. I haven't done it for a long time. So I'm not good being COVID and quarantine and sit in my basement. I need to be with my players because they bring the juice.
All right.
How many questions do you got, Jack?
He's got two more, Coach.
Oh, all right.
Two more. What do you do now in your free time?
Well, right now, if it's nice, I'm going to go play golf and enjoy that. If not, I'm either barbecuing at home, have a smoker at home, or uh, watching TV on by myself anymore. And so that's what I do in my fun time. I try to go play golf.
Okay, so Jack's got one more. I'll ask you my last question, and this goes back to 1984 John Wriston versus 2020 John Wriston. A lot has changed in Pueblo. What is something that has not changed that you remember from college to now? What is something that is still the same there that you enjoy?
Well, the staples of Paskey, Coors, Gus's, Latronicas, all those. That's what makes Pueblo Pueblo, and I value that so much. And I can be a guy's guy with everybody, and that's what I appreciate.
Power on. My last question: what was your favorite moment in your career?
I have so many of them, but I think, being the head coach and walking out for this team that was trying to get him to compete, all that fell on me. And so I guess, and I don't mean to sound egotistical, but that was my favorite moment because it fell on me to be able to get a bunch of guys ready to go with the high expectations we set. So being the head coach of the very first game.
Awesome. Coach, I cannot thank you enough. I know we were talking before, you're recruiting right now. You're on the phone, your texts are going off, you're Zooming. I appreciate you and thank you for taking the time to chat with us tonight.
That's awesome. Jack, great job. I appreciate you.
All right. All right. We want to thank Coach Wriston. Like I said, that was cool. He took time out. He was in the middle of, they're in the middle of recruiting and they're having to recruit over Zoom, basically, like what Jack and I are doing right now. So Coach stopped. He gave us about a half hour. That's the first time I've spoke to him. He's a cool dude. Like, I hope this fall you and I can go down there and do a game. We'll have to look. I think I'm going to edit it out. He made fun of my outfit a little bit, which that's okay. So, Uncle Kevin's Uncle Kevin, but that was way cool of Coach Wriston. So he's a Pueblo guy. He's a Southeast Colorado guy, and they've done right by Pueblo. I hope we'll get him on again, hopefully this fall. Hopefully, Jack, people are allowed at the games and me and you can go to a Thunderwolves game together this fall.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So here a while back, our executive producer, the booking agent, your dad, my buddy, Mr. Sentner, as he has asked us to call him, Mr. Sentner reached out to a certain former Denver Broncos quarterback, not the one I like, the one I dislike, but nonetheless, he reached out. And what did you get back from Mr. Manning?
I got back. So it was like just the letter. The address was crossed out, but we got this Peyton Manning autograph.
Nice. And we'll get a better picture of that. We'll get it on the Facebook page. But yeah, we didn't get a no. Let's say it first and foremost, we didn't get a no from Peyton. Now, to be fair, I don't know what Nate, is it Nationwide? Is that who he does commercials for?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nationwide or Buick or whatever other places he does. We don't quite have the budget yet to pay for his time like they do. But it was cool you heard back from Manning.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we have a cool little keepsake. Now, before we get out of here, let's get into this weekend's game. Sunday, the first game, Bucks at Packers. Does Tampa Bay, do the Bucks have a chance in Green Bay? What do you think?
we start with the AFC title game? Because that's the one I have pulled up.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's go to AFC. Let me get my FanDuel up. Let's check her out. Colorado. Here we go. NFL. So it's Kansas City -3. So it's Buffalo +3 at Arrowhead. What do you think?
I'm taking the Bills to win 31-28.
31-28. You're picking the Bills. 31-28. I am picking the Bills. 35-10. I'm gonna take a little off of what Big Cat said. I'm gonna go 35-10. I think Buffalo goes in and rolls the Chiefs. Now, NFC. Tampa Bay +3. This seems like a crazy line. It's Tampa Bay +3. I don't see any way it's that tight. But what do you see going on in Lambeau?
Hold on. Let me find the Buccaneers because there's some. I'm getting annoyed. I keep clicking on the wrong thing.
It's okay.
Hold on. And Bucks to win 42-31.
So you're picking Tampa Bay in an upset, 42-31. I think you are crazy.
Yes.
I think it's going to be Green Bay 34, Tampa 17. That's my prediction. We'll get these marked down.
So
Yes.
we forgot to cover the stats for the Chiefs and the Bills, but we still have them for the year.
Okay, do it.
Packers. Top passer. Tom Brady is the top Bucks passer. 29 for 41, 299 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rating 159.3.
Do you see Aaron Rodgers' prediction right
Rushing?
there?
Yeah. You
What
wanna
is
see
his
it?
total? Yeah.
32 for 42, 296 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Okay, hold up. You're telling me your
157.3.
little computer there is telling you that Tom Brady is going to outpass Aaron Rodgers on Sunday. More
Yes.
yards, more total. There's no way. There, you have a flaw. There is a bug in your
By
numbers.
3 yards.
No, I don't agree.
Okay.
I got to disagree.
But
I'm going with this computer right here, Uncle Kevin's hard drive. Hold on a minute. Jameson, give it. My dog just tried to eat our dinner off the stove. Jameson, go sit down. You want to buy a dog?
Hey, Jamin. I want one.
Okay. Well, you want an old one? You won't have to have him long, maybe a year at most. Be like a practice one. You honestly think it's going to be?
Okay.
You're picking Buffalo and Tampa in the Super Bowl.
Yes. Wait, I forgot to cover the other stats here.
No, do it. Cover him.
Ronald Jones runs for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the 4 touchdowns went to one to Rob Gronkowski, one to Mike Evans, one to Scotty Miller, and then one to Chris Godwin. Meanwhile, on the Packers side of things, Aaron Jones has the most rushing with 50 rushing yards. Receiving, Devontae Adams has 89 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving. And Aaron Jones has 41 yards and a touchdown receiving. Allen Lazard, 27 yards and a touchdown. And that's what I got. And then Mason Crosby kicking a 27-yard field goal.
Okay. You've made your predictions. We agree on one game. We disagree on the other. We'll find out Sunday. Did I just lose you?
Intro time.
What's that?
No.
No, the wind's blowing. No, I'm still here. The wind's blowing like 400 miles an hour here. I don't know why that wind affects our
Did you
internet in
lose
Wyoming.
me?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I can hear you. So
All right.
we
Should I do
did.
the outro now?
I think we're done. I think that was a good show.
Or wait,
I think
is it
that
the
was
end?
cool. That was cool for Coach Wriston to talk to us. I'm excited. I am excited. We've done 33 of these shows. Here's what I want to do for the next one. Episode 34, you need to figure out who your favorite athlete is to ever wear the number 34. Real fast off the top of your head, can you tell me a favorite athlete of yours that wore the number 33? I know who mine is.
My guess is, did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wear number 33?
Dude, he did. Right on, man. Yeah, Jabbar did. My favorite is Patrick Waugh. So Patrick Waugh wore 33, 4 Stanley Cup rings. You picked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's two guys who were badass at what they did. So with that, when we do next episode, we're going to do our favorite athletes to wear the number 34. I got a couple early front runners. One that
I
definitely
already
comes to
have
mind.
that.
Who's your favorite 34?
Or I have a decision to make between 3 of them.
Okay, well mine is Sweetness.
I'm
Who's
making
yours?
this decision between Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Out of the 3, one is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
The second, Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
And then the third, Herschel Walker.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I think Walter Payton wore 34. So, or 32. I don't know. I'll have to look. If Walter
Then
Payton,
I'm bad.
well, hold on. Let's look.
Yeah,
I
Peyton
can't.
wore 34. Peyton wore 34.
Yeah, so that's my guy. So, okay, cool. Well, good show. Go ahead and do like our executive producer has asked us and give us a good outro here.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and then check us out on Facebook and Instagram. See you guys in the next one.